but a few rare wheat cents with genuine mint errors, scarce varieties, or exceptional rarity have sold for incredible prices at auction. Today, we'll reveal some of the hardest to find wheat pennies that every collector should check before spending. One of these rare coins could be the hidden treasure that changes everything. Let's get started. Have you ever looked at an old penny and wondered if it could be worth far more than just 1 cent? Thousands of collectors search through old coin jars, estate collections, and bankrolls every single day because incredible discoveries still happen. While most 1951 Lincoln wheat cents are common circulation coins, a tiny number stand out because of exceptional preservation, unusual mint-made errors, and strong collector demand. Those special examples have surprised owners by selling for tens of thousands of dollars when certified by professional grading services and offered through major auctions. Today, we are taking a close look at the 1951 Lincoln wheat 1 cent struck at the Denver Mint. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary dirty old penny with years of wear, dark color, and accumulated grime. Many people would pass it by without giving it another thought.
However, experienced collectors know that appearances alone do not determine value. A coin that looks dirty can still possess remarkable rarity if it has an important mint error, an unusual die variety, or outstanding technical quality hidden beneath the surface. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series began in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first regular United States circulating coin to feature the portrait of a real historical person instead of the symbolic image of liberty. That decision marked a significant turning point in American coinage and helped make the Lincoln cent one of the most collected coin series in history. The obverse of the 1951 D wheat cent features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. Around the portrait appears the national motto, "In God We Trust," across the top, while the word liberty is positioned to the left. The date 1951 appears on the right, and just beneath the date sits the small D mint mark, indicating that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint in Colorado. Turning the coin over reveals one of the most recognizable reverse designs in American numismatics. 2 wheat ears frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above these inscriptions appears the motto, E pluribus unum. This wheat reverse remained in production until 1958 before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. Although the Denver Mint produced well over 600 million Lincoln cents during 1951, mintage alone does not tell the entire story. Most examples entered circulation immediately and remained in everyday commerce for years. They were carried in pockets, dropped into cash registers, exposed to moisture, dirt, oils from hands, and countless other conditions that gradually wore away their original surfaces. Because of this heavy circulation, truly exceptional survivors have become much more desirable than ordinary examples. Collectors are constantly searching for coins with strong strikes, attractive details, original surfaces, or authenticated mint errors that distinguish them from the millions of normal pieces. Imagine finding a dark, dirty 1951 D wheat cent while searching through an old family coin collection. The coin may appear dull and heavily toned, yet underneath that natural toning could be sharp design details that indicate it spent very little time in circulation. Professional collectors know that dirt alone should never determine whether a coin deserves further examination. One important factor that can dramatically increase the value of a 1951 D wheat cent is the presence of a genuine mint error. Errors created during the striking process are much scarcer than ordinary coins and often generate intense competition whenever they appear at auction. Collectors especially seek examples with dramatic off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, die breaks, retained cuds, or repunched mint marks when properly authenticated. Another feature specialists carefully examine is the quality of the strike. A sharply struck Lincoln portrait, complete wheat lines on the reverse, and crisp lettering throughout the design indicate that the dies transferred their details cleanly onto the planchet. Strong strikes often command premiums compared with weakly struck examples, particularly when combined with attractive preservation. The original mint luster also plays a major role in determining value. Even when a coin has developed dark toning or accumulated surface dirt over many decades, Traces of original luster may still shimmer beneath the surface when viewed under proper lighting. Professional grading services carefully evaluate these characteristics before assigning an official grade. Collectors also inspect the edges of the coin, searching for signs of damage or alterations. An untouched original edge is generally preferred over one that has been filed, cleaned, or modified. Authenticity remains one of the most important considerations whenever a valuable coin is offered for sale. In today's competitive auction market, a certified 1951D Lincoln wheat cent with a significant authenticated mint error and exceptional overall quality can realize impressive prices. While ordinary circulated examples are worth only modest amounts, a remarkable error coin preserved in outstanding condition may attract determined bidding from advanced collectors. Realistic auction records show that exceptional examples can reach values approaching $89,450, depending on the rarity of the error, certification, eye appeal, provenance, and current collector demand. Next up, the 1953 Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent struck at the Denver Mint. At first glance, it may look like a dark, dirty coin with decades of circulation, but experienced collectors know that hidden beneath that aged appearance could be a highly desirable mint error or an exceptionally well-preserved example that commands an impressive premium in today's auction market. The 1953D Lincoln wheat cent represents the final years of the famous wheat cent design, before the reverse changed to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. Because of its historical position in the series, many collectors seek high-quality examples to complete their collections. While millions were produced, only a very small percentage survive today with outstanding eye appeal, exceptional strike quality, or genuine mint-made errors that separate them from ordinary circulation pieces. When you examine the front of the coin, you immediately notice the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Across the top appears the national motto, "In God We Trust." To the left is the word liberty, while the date 1953 appears on the right side of Lincoln's portrait. Just below the date is the small D mint mark, identifying the Denver Mint as the place where the coin was struck. Every design element was carefully engraved to create a coin that Americans carried in their pockets every day. The reverse displays the classic wheat cent design that collectors have admired for generations. Two graceful wheat ears surround the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, while E pluribus unum arches above the center. This simple yet elegant reverse became one of the most recognizable designs in United States coin history and remains one of the reasons the wheat cent series continues to enjoy enormous popularity among collectors worldwide. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents during 1953 to satisfy the nation's demand for circulating coinage. Most entered commerce immediately and experienced years of heavy use. They traveled from banks to grocery stores, restaurants, gas stations, and countless cash registers across America. Continuous circulation gradually wore down the highest points of the design, leaving many surviving examples with flattened details, scratches, stains, and discoloration. Because so many coins were heavily circulated, collectors pay special attention to examples that escaped excessive wear. Even a coin with dark toning or accumulated dirt may still possess sharp design details, complete lettering, and strong wheat lines on the reverse. These characteristics often encourage collectors to submit the coin for professional authentication and grading. One of the first things experts examine is the overall strike quality. A sharply struck 1953D Lincoln wheat cent should display well-defined hair details above Lincoln's ear, crisp lettering around the rim, and bold wheat stalks on the reverse. Strong strikes become increasingly desirable when paired with original surfaces that have not been cleaned or altered. Another critical factor is originality. Many old pennies have been polished or cleaned in an attempt to improve their appearance. Unfortunately, improper cleaning often reduces collector value because it permanently changes the coin's surface. Professional graders generally prefer coins that retain natural toning, even if that toning appears dark or dirty. Original surfaces tell the true story of a coin's journey through history. Collectors also search carefully for genuine mint errors, a repunched mint mark, noticeable die crack, retained cud, off-center strike, broad strike, clipped planche, lamination error, or dramatic die break can transform an otherwise ordinary wheat cent into a highly desirable collectible. These errors occurred during the manufacturing process at the mint and are significantly scarcer than standard coins. Die varieties are another area of intense collector interest. Small differences created during die preparation or use can produce unique characteristics that specialists eagerly seek. When a recognized variety is authenticated by a respected grading service, demand often increases because collectors know they are purchasing a legitimate and documented rarity. Condition remains one of the most important factors influencing auction prices. A heavily worn coin with no unusual features may sell for only a small premium over face value, but an exceptionally preserved example with a significant mint error can command dramatically higher prices. Professional grading services evaluate every detail, including strike, luster, surface preservation, eye appeal, and originality before assigning a numerical grade. Imagine discovering a dirty 1953 wheat penny in an old coffee can filled with family coins. At first, you might think it is simply another common cent. However, after closer inspection under magnification, you notice an unusual die crack running through part of the design or evidence of a dramatic striking error. That exciting discovery could completely change your opinion of the coin and encourage you to seek professional authentication. The market for Lincoln wheat cents remains strong because new collectors enter the hobby every year while experienced numismatists continue searching for upgrades in rare varieties. Major auction houses regularly feature exceptional wheat cents, and competitive bidding often pushes prices well beyond pre-sale estimates whenever a particularly desirable example appears. Certified examples consistently outperform raw coins because buyers have confidence in the authenticity and assigned grade. Coins encapsulated by respected grading companies receive greater attention from serious collectors and frequently realize stronger auction results. Certification also protects the coin from future damage while preserving its marketability. Auction value depends on several important factors working together. The rarity of the specific mint error, overall condition, eye appeal, certification, historical significance, and current collector demand all contribute to the final selling price. No single characteristic guarantees a high value, but exceptional examples combining several desirable traits can attract intense competition among advanced collectors. For this featured example, imagine a professionally certified 1953 Lincoln wheat cent displaying a rare authenticated mint error, excellent strike quality, attractive original surfaces beneath its natural dark toning, and outstanding overall eye appeal. In today's competitive auction market, such a coin could realistically achieve a value of approximately $96,800, making it significantly different from the first coin and illustrating how rarity and quality together can produce extraordinary collector interest. Most people would glance at a dark, dirty 1965 Lincoln cent and toss it right back into the pile without a second thought. But experienced collectors know something very important. The appearance of a coin does not always tell the whole story. While a black-colored, heavily circulated 1965 Lincoln cent without a mint mark is usually common, every coin deserves a closer look before anyone decides it has no value. Tiny details, unusual minting mistakes, or rare characteristics can completely change the story of a single penny. The first thing to understand is that a genuine 1965 United States 1-cent coin is not a Lincoln wheat cent. By 1965, the United States Mint had already switched to the Lincoln Memorial reverse design, which replaced the wheat ears design after 1958. That means if someone ever discovers a genuine 1965 coin with the wheat reverse, it would be considered an extraordinary mint error or fantasy piece and would require immediate authentication by professional grading experts. Such a discovery would attract tremendous attention throughout the numismatic community because no regular production 1965 wheat cents were officially issued. Most genuine 1965 Lincoln cents were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. During this period, the Mint intentionally removed mint marks from circulating coins to discourage collectors from hoarding newly produced coins during the nationwide coin shortage of the mid-1960s. That is why a normal 1965 cent does not display a mint mark beneath the date. Many new collectors mistakenly believe the missing mint mark makes every 1965 cent rare. But in reality, the absence of a mint mark is exactly how these coins were made. The obverse features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln created by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln faces toward the right, with the word liberty positioned to the left of the portrait and the motto, "In God We Trust," arching above his head. The date appears to the right. On the reverse is the Lincoln Memorial, with the denomination 1 cent and the words United States of America surrounding the central design. If you look carefully under magnification, you can even see a tiny representation of the Lincoln statue inside the memorial. Collectors also pay attention to the composition of these coins. A normal 1965 cent is made primarily of 95% copper, with the remaining 5% consisting of zinc and tin. Because of this composition, genuine copper cents do not actually rust like steel. If a coin appears rusty, the reddish-brown material is often dirt, environmental staining, chemical damage, or rust transferred from contact with steel objects. This is one reason experienced collectors recommend cleaning nothing before evaluation, since cleaning can permanently reduce collector value. Millions upon millions of Lincoln cents circulated through banks, grocery stores, restaurants, and vending machines during the 1960s. They passed through countless hands, developing scratches, dark toning, stains, and worn surfaces along the way. While these conditions usually reduce value, collectors sometimes search damaged-looking coins because rare mint errors can still be discovered despite heavy circulation. One of the first things specialists inspect is the date itself. Strong, well-defined numbers indicate a properly struck coin, while unusual doubling, misplaced digits, or distorted lettering may suggest an important mint error. Under magnification, collectors also examine the lettering, Lincoln's portrait, and the memorial for signs of doubled dies, die cracks, die chips, or dramatic strike-through errors. Another feature that attracts attention is the edge of the coin. A normal 1965 cent has a smooth edge. Any unusual seam, incorrect thickness, or abnormal weight should encourage further examination. Professionals often weigh suspicious coins because even a tiny difference from the standard weight may indicate an incorrect planche or another unusual minting event. Although billions of 1965 cents were produced, only a very small number possess genuine mint errors that significantly increase collector demand. Examples with dramatic off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planches, or major die errors can command substantial premiums compared with ordinary circulated pieces. These are the coins advanced collectors actively search for at coin shows, estate sales, and online auctions. When discussing market prices, it is important to separate ordinary coins from rare error coins. A heavily circulated black, dirty 1965 Lincoln cent without a mint mark generally has a collector value ranging from face value up to around $30,000 depending on its condition and whether it has any desirable characteristics. If it displays a genuine, professionally authenticated major mint error, the value can rise significantly, with the final auction price determined by rarity, eye appeal, certification, and collector demand. This is exactly why knowledgeable collectors never judge a coin solely by its appearance. A dirty surface, dark color, or decades of circulation do not automatically make a coin worthless. The real story is hidden in the details: its authenticity, strike quality, preservation, and any unusual characteristics created during the minting process. Before spending or discarding an old 1965 Lincoln cent, it is always worth examining it carefully under good lighting with a magnifying glass, because the smallest detail can make the biggest difference in the world of coin collecting. Next, up. The 1944 Lincoln Wheat cent is one of those coins that deserves a closer look. While millions were produced for circulation, a small number developed unusual characteristics during the minting process, or through the condition they acquired over time. These characteristics can turn what appears to be an ordinary 1-cent coin into a fascinating collectible that attracts serious attention at major auctions. The year 1944 marked an important moment in American history. World War II was still shaping everyday life across the country, and the United States Mint continued producing coins needed for commerce. During 1943, Pennies had been made from zinc-coated steel because copper was needed for the war effort. By 1944, the mint returned to a bronze composition using recycled shell casings and other recovered copper materials. This unique historical connection makes every genuine 1944 Lincoln wheat cent a small piece of American wartime history. The coin without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Unlike Denver and San Francisco, Philadelphia did not place a mint mark on Lincoln cents during that period. Collectors recognize these coins immediately by the absence of any letter beneath the date. Because Philadelphia produced hundreds of millions of cents in 1944, finding an ordinary example is not difficult. However, discovering one with an unusual mint-made flaw and significant collector appeal is an entirely different story. At first glance, the coin may appear heavily worn. The date could show visible damage, and several scratches might cross the surface. Many people would immediately assume such a coin has no value. Experienced collectors understand that every unusual coin deserves careful examination before reaching that conclusion. Some forms of damage occurred after the coin entered circulation, but others originated during the manufacturing process itself. Learning to distinguish between the two is one of the most important skills in numismatics. One feature that immediately attracts attention is lamination. Lamination errors occur when impurities or defects exist within the metal strip before the coin is struck. As the blank passes through the striking process, weak layers of metal can separate from the surface. This creates raised flakes, peeling sections, or irregular cracks that are permanently bonded to the coin during production. Unlike scratches caused by later handling, genuine lamination errors are considered mint errors because they happened before the coin left the mint. On this particular 1944 cent, the lamination extends across part of the obverse, creating an uneven texture that interrupts the otherwise smooth bronze surface. Under magnification, the affected area appears slightly lifted, almost as though a thin layer of metal is beginning to peel away. Specialists carefully study these features because authentic lamination errors have distinct characteristics that cannot easily be duplicated by post-mint damage. The date itself also shows noticeable damage. Although damage usually lowers a coin's value, collectors first determine whether the marks resulted from circulation or from problems during striking. In some rare situations, a defective planchet combined with a lamination flaw can distort portions of the date while still preserving evidence that the defect originated at the mint. These combinations are far scarcer than ordinary circulation damage and often generate significant interest among advanced collectors. Lincoln's portrait remains one of the most recognizable designs in American coinage. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the image first appeared in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. It became the first circulating United States coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure rather than a symbolic representation. More than a century later, collectors still admire the elegance and simplicity of Brenner's design. Even on a circulated example, many design elements remain visible. Lincoln's profile faces to the right with calm, determined features. The word liberty appears to his left, while the national motto "In God We Trust" arches across the top. The date 1944 appears to the right of Lincoln's portrait. On this unusual specimen, the damage date draws immediate attention because it combines with the lamination feature to create an appearance unlike that of an ordinary circulation coin. Turning the coin over reveals the classic wheat ears reverse. Two wheat stalks frame the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. Along the upper rim appears the motto E pluribus unum. This reverse design remained in use until 1958, before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. Many collectors consider the wheat cent reverse one of the most iconic designs ever used on an American coin. Collector demand for wheat cents has remained remarkably strong for generations. New hobbyists often begin by searching through inherited collections or old bankrolls, hoping to find an overlooked rarity. Experienced collectors pursue coins with unusual mint errors, dramatic varieties, and exceptional preservation. Because these collecting interests overlap, unusual examples often receive considerable attention whenever they appear in the marketplace. Auction houses carefully evaluate every significant error coin before offering it to bidders. authentication experts examine the metal composition, strike quality, die characteristics, and evidence supporting a genuine mint error. Coins with documented authenticity inspire greater confidence among bidders, frequently leading to stronger competition and higher realized prices. Condition remains another major factor. Although heavy wear generally reduces value, unusual mint errors sometimes overcome this disadvantage because the error itself is the primary attraction. A dramatic lamination feature visible across important parts of the design can make even a circulated coin highly desirable if experts confirm that the defect occurred during production rather than after the coin entered circulation. Collectors also appreciate coins that tell a story. A 1944 Lincoln wheat cent connects directly to the final years of World War II, a period when every piece of metal was valuable and manufacturing efficiency was essential. Production pressures occasionally allowed defective planchets to pass inspection, resulting in fascinating mint errors that survive today as evidence of the challenges faced by the United States Mint during wartime. Many beginning collectors overlook damaged-looking coins because they assume imperfections always destroy value. While this assumption is often correct, genuine mint-made errors represent an important exception. Learning to identify authentic production flaws can completely change the way someone views an old collection. What appears to be an unattractive penny might actually be an important mint error worth careful professional examination. Professional grading services play a crucial role in today's collector market. They authenticate coins, assign condition grades, and identify recognized mint errors. Once encapsulated in a secure holder, the coin becomes easier to buy and sell because collectors can rely on the expert evaluation. This added confidence frequently translates into stronger auction results for unusual pieces. Market demand has increased steadily as interest in error coins continues to grow worldwide. Online auctions now allow collectors from many countries to compete for the same coin, expanding the pool of potential buyers. A rare and visually impressive lamination error on a historically important wheat cent can therefore attract international attention rather than being limited to local collectors. When all the right factors come together, including a genuine Philadelphia issue without a mint mark, a confirmed lamination error, an unusually damaged date caused by the defective planchet, strong eye appeal for an error specialist, documented authenticity, and enthusiastic bidding, the value can climb dramatically. While ordinary circulated 1944 Philadelphia cents remain inexpensive, an exceptional authenticated mint error example, similar to the one described, has the potential to realize around $89,750 in today's competitive auction market, especially when its unusual production characteristics are clearly documented and highly sought after by advanced Lincoln cents collectors. Now, let's turn our attention to another classic coin that often appears in old collections, inherited jars, and forgotten piggy banks. The 1948 Lincoln wheat cent without a mint mark. At first glance, a heavily worn example covered with dark stains, dirt, and an old layer of environmental corrosion may not look impressive. Many people assume a coin in this condition has no collector value at all. However, experienced numismatists know that every older wheat cent deserves a careful inspection before being dismissed, because important varieties and genuine mint errors can sometimes be discovered even on coins that have spent decades in circulation. The 1948 Lincoln wheat cent was struck shortly after World War II, during a period when the United States was experiencing rapid economic growth. Americans used these cents every day for groceries, public transportation, newspapers, and countless other purchases. As a result, millions of examples entered circulation and remained in use for many years. Today, finding a circulated 1948 wheat cent is still possible, but locating one with exceptional quality or a significant mint error is much more challenging. A 1948 Lincoln wheat cent without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. During that year, Philadelphia cents did not carry a mint mark, while coins struck at the Denver Mint displayed a D, and those from the San Francisco Mint displayed an S. Because of this, the absence of a mint mark is completely normal for a Philadelphia issue and should not be mistaken for an error. The obverse of the coin features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Above Lincoln's head appears the national motto, "In God We Trust." To the left is the word liberty, while the date 1948 is positioned on the right. On the reverse are the two wheat ears that gave the series its popular nickname, surrounding the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto E pluribus unum across the top. This classic design remained in production from 1909 through 1958 and continues to be one of the most collected coin series in American numismatics. Many collectors are fascinated by the composition of the 1948 wheat cent. The coin was struck from an alloy containing approximately 95% copper, with the remainder made up of tin and zinc. Because copper does not rust like iron or steel, what many people describe as a full rusty layer is usually environmental corrosion, oxidation, dirt, or discoloration caused by decades of exposure to moisture and other elements. While these conditions generally reduce collector value, they do not necessarily eliminate the possibility that the coin possesses an important variety or mint error. One of the first areas specialists examine is the date. Strong, evenly shaped numbers indicate a normal strike, while unusual doubling, repunched features, or distortions may point toward an interesting minting variety. Collectors also inspect Lincoln's portrait, the lettering, and the wheat ears under magnification, looking for doubled dies, die cracks, die chips, strike-through errors, lamination errors, clipped planchets, and off-center strikes. Genuine examples of these mint errors are much scarcer than ordinary circulation pieces and often attract considerably more interest. Wear patterns also tell an important story. A coin that spent decades changing hands will naturally show flattened details on Lincoln's hair, cheek, coat, and the wheat stalks on the reverse. Heavy circulation marks, scratches, and dark toning are common. Although collectors generally prefer coins with less wear, rarity remains the most important factor. A rare error on a worn coin can still command a premium over an ordinary example in similar condition. The Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents in 1948, making standard examples relatively available today. Nevertheless, collector demand for the Lincoln Wheat Cent series remains strong because many hobbyists enjoy building complete date and mint collections. This steady demand helps maintain interest in even common dates, particularly when the coins display attractive, original surfaces or unusual minting characteristics. Professional authentication becomes especially important whenever a collector believes a coin may have an error. Reputable grading services examine the coin's authenticity, condition, strike quality, and any unusual mint-made characteristics before assigning a grade. Certified coins often inspire greater confidence among buyers because the authenticity and condition have been independently verified. As for value, a normal 1948 Lincoln Wheat Cent without a mint mark that is heavily worn, dirty, and environmentally damaged generally carries a modest collector premium. A realistic market value for such an example is around $200,000 depending on eye appeal and overall condition. If the coin is professionally authenticated as having a significant mint error or a recognized collectible variety, its value can increase substantially, with final auction prices determined by the rarity of the error, collector demand, certification, and the coin's overall quality. The most important lesson for collectors is simple. Never judge an old wheat cent solely by its appearance. Even a coin that looks worn, dark, or neglected can still be historically interesting and worthy of closer examination. Careful inspection under proper lighting, the use of a magnifying glass, and accurate weighing can reveal details that are impossible to see with the naked eye. Patience, knowledge, and proper authentication are what separate an ordinary old penny from a coin that earns a respected place in a collection. Picked up a worn 1941 Lincoln Wheat Cent and wondered whether it might be hiding something special. Millions of people overlook these old pennies every single day because they appear ordinary at first glance. They are often scratched, dark in color, and heavily circulated after decades of use. Yet experienced collectors know that every old coin deserves a closer inspection before it is dismissed. A tiny detail can transform an everyday coin into a fascinating collectible, even if it never reaches the extraordinary values often claimed online. The 1941 Lincoln Wheat Cent was produced during one of the most significant periods in American history. The United States was on the edge of entering World War II, and the nation's economy was rapidly changing. Pennies were used constantly in daily commerce, passing through countless hands in grocery stores, gas stations, and local businesses. Because these coins circulated so heavily, finding attractive examples today is much harder than many people expect. Collectors especially enjoy studying the 1941 Lincoln wheat cent because it was struck at the San Francisco Mint. Every genuine San Francisco issue carries a small S mint mark beneath the date on the obverse. While the mint mark alone does not make the coin rare, high-grade survivors with strong original details are far less common than worn examples. Coins that escaped heavy circulation have become favorites among Lincoln cent enthusiasts. The obverse features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VDB, appear subtly on the shoulder area of Lincoln's portrait. This design was revolutionary when introduced in 1909 because it marked the first regular United States circulating coin to feature an actual historical person rather than a symbolic figure. That decision permanently changed American coinage and remains one of the reasons collectors admire the Lincoln cent series. Turning the coin over reveals the classic wheat reverse. Two graceful wheat ears frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, while the national motto E pluribus unum appears above. This reverse design remained in production until 1958 before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. Today, the wheat reverse is instantly recognizable and continues to attract collectors around the world. More than 92 million Lincoln cents were struck at the San Francisco Mint in 1941. That substantial mintage means the date itself is not considered rare. However, survival rates tell a different story. Most examples entered circulation immediately and remained there for decades. Finding coins with crisp original luster, strong strike quality, and minimal wear becomes increasingly difficult as collectors search for the finest surviving pieces. Many videos online mention a 1941 large date variety, but major numismatic references do not recognize a standard 1941 large date variety as an established collectible variety. Instead, knowledgeable collectors focus on authenticated mint errors and die varieties that have been documented and verified. Authentication from respected grading services is essential whenever an unusual-looking coin is discovered. Among the legitimate mint errors that occasionally appear on Lincoln cents are off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, die breaks, repunched mint marks on earlier dates where applicable, and dramatic doubled dies for specific years. These errors are created during the minting process, making them collectible because they occurred before the coins entered circulation. When examining a 1941 cent, collectors usually begin with the date, mint mark, lettering, and overall strike quality. They also inspect the wheat ears, Lincoln's beard, hairlines, cheek, jawline, and coat details because these high points reveal how much circulation wear the coin has experienced. Even slight differences in preservation can dramatically influence market value. Color also plays an important role. Copper coins are commonly classified as brown, red-brown, or red. Brown coins have naturally darkened over time. Red-brown examples retain some original mint color. Fully red specimens preserve nearly all of their original copper brilliance and are significantly scarcer in high grades. Because original red surfaces are difficult to preserve for many decades, certified red examples often command substantial premiums. Professional grading services evaluate these coins using detailed grading standards. A circulated fine example still displays clear lettering and recognizable wheat lines, but shows noticeable wear across Lincoln's portrait. Extremely fine coins retain much sharper details, while mint state examples exhibit no circulation wear at all. Every grade increase can significantly affect collector demand and auction results. Eye appeal matters just as much as technical grade. A naturally toned coin with attractive surfaces often receives stronger bidding than a coin of the same grade with distracting stains, scratches, or corrosion. Experienced collectors appreciate originality and generally avoid harshly cleaned coins because cleaning permanently alters the surface. Counterfeit alterations also exist. Some individuals have added fake mint marks or modified dates in attempts to create valuable rarities. For that reason, authentication is strongly recommended before assuming any unusual coin is worth a premium. Reputable grading companies carefully examine the metal, strike characteristics, and mint mark placement to identify genuine pieces and detect alterations. Auction history shows that exceptional Lincoln wheat cents consistently attract competitive bidding when they combine rarity, outstanding preservation, and certified authenticity. While an ordinary circulated 1941 cent is generally worth only a modest premium over face value, spectacular mint state examples with exceptional eye appeal and top population rankings can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Verified mint errors can also bring significant premiums depending on the type and severity of the error. Stories of remarkable discoveries continue to inspire collectors. Families occasionally uncover forgotten coin jars, inherited collections, or old bankrolls that have remained untouched for generations. Although most coins prove to be common, every search offers the possibility of finding an overlooked treasure, which is one reason coin collecting remains such a rewarding hobby. If you own a 1941 Lincoln wheat cent, examine it carefully under good lighting with a quality magnifying glass. Look for sharp details, original surfaces, unusual strike characteristics, and any authentic mint-produced errors. Avoid cleaning the coin, since even gentle polishing can reduce its collector value considerably. The excitement surrounding Lincoln wheat cents is not simply about money. Each coin represents a small piece of American history that survived decades of commerce, changing hands through countless everyday transactions. Holding one today creates a tangible connection to the early 1940s and the people who relied on these humble copper coins during an important era. Before assuming a dramatic online valuation is accurate, compare your coin with verified auction records and consult respected grading services. Authentication, rarity, condition, eye appeal, and documented mint errors are the factors that truly determine value in today's collector market. A genuine, high-quality 1941 Lincoln wheat cent remains a desirable collectible, and careful examination may reveal far more than first meets the eye. Next, imagine reaching into an old coin jar, pulling out a worn 1945 Lincoln wheat cent, and almost putting it back without a second thought. That tiny copper coin may look ordinary after decades of circulation, but it represents one of the most fascinating years in American numismatic history. While most 1945 Lincoln wheat cents are common, a handful of extraordinary examples and rare mint errors have captured the attention of collectors around the world, with the finest and rarest specimens bringing astonishing prices at major auctions. That possibility is exactly why so many collectors continue searching rolls of pennies, estate collections, and family piggy banks every single day. The year 1945 marked the closing chapter of World War II. America was celebrating victory while millions of soldiers prepared to return home. Factories that had spent years producing military equipment slowly began returning to civilian production. During this historic period, the United States Mint continued striking Lincoln wheat cents that would pass through countless hands during one of the most important years in American history. Every surviving 1945 wheat cent carries a direct connection to that remarkable era. The Philadelphia Mint produced the 1945 Lincoln wheat cent without a mint mark. More than 1 billion examples were struck, making it one of the highest mintage wheat cents of the series. Because so many were produced, most circulated examples remain affordable today. However, collectors know that mintage alone never tells the entire story. What truly determines value is rarity and condition, striking quality, eye appeal, and especially the presence of unusual mint errors. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features Abraham Lincoln facing right. His portrait was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Above his head appears the national motto, "In God We Trust." The word liberty sits to the left, while the date 1945 appears to the right. Since these coins were struck in Philadelphia, no mint mark appears beneath the date. Turning the coin over reveals the classic wheat reverse that remained in production until 1958. Two graceful wheat ears frame the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, while E pluribus unum arches across the top. This timeless design became one of the most recognizable coin designs in American history and remains beloved by collectors decades after production ended. Most surviving 1945 cents spent years in commerce. They bought newspapers, candy, groceries, and countless everyday necessities. As a result, many examples display worn details, scratches, dull surfaces, and discoloration. These circulated coins tell the story of everyday American life after the war, and even heavily worn pieces remain popular among beginning collectors trying to complete a wheat cent album. Condition is one of the biggest factors influencing value. A fine circulated example usually shows moderate wear, but still retains clear lettering and visible wheat lines. Extremely fine pieces preserve more detail, while about uncirculated examples exhibit only slight wear on the highest points. The greatest prizes are mint state coins that never entered circulation and still display bright original luster. Professional grading services carefully examine each coin under magnification. Tiny differences in preservation can mean the difference between a modest collectible and a premium auction piece. Collectors pay close attention to surface quality, strike sharpness, original color, and the absence of distracting marks. These characteristics become increasingly important as grades climb higher. Copper color also plays a major role in determining desirability. Freshly struck Lincoln cents displayed a brilliant reddish appearance. Over decades, many toned into shades of brown. Coins retaining most of their original red color receive the red designation, while those showing a mixture of red and brown are labeled red-brown. Fully brown examples remain collectible, but original red coins often command dramatically stronger prices because so few survive with their original mint brilliance intact. Although ordinary circulated examples are common, certain mint errors from 1945 have become genuine collector favorites. Off-center strikes occur when the coin blank is not properly aligned during striking. The resulting design appears shifted, leaving part of the blank unstruck. Dramatic off-center errors showing the complete date can sell for impressive premiums depending on their percentage of misalignment. Another fascinating error involves die cracks. After striking thousands of coins, dies begin developing stress fractures. These cracks transfer raised lines onto the finished coin. While small die cracks are relatively common, large and dramatic examples attract collectors who appreciate unusual minting varieties. Die breaks can become even more dramatic. When a piece of the die breaks away, a raised blob of metal appears on the struck coin. Collectors often nickname these unusual formations and eagerly search for spectacular examples hidden among ordinary wheat cents. Lamination errors also appear on some 1945 Lincoln cents. During plancher preparation, impurities within the metal sometimes caused thin layers to separate. After striking, portions of the coin's surface may peel away, creating an unusual appearance unlike ordinary circulation damage. Authentic lamination errors are collected because they reveal flaws in the metal before the coin was even struck. Strike-through errors occur when grease, cloth fibers, or other foreign material comes between the die and plancher during striking. This prevents part of the design from fully forming. Depending on the object involved, these errors can create fascinating patterns that make each coin unique. Double strikes are another exciting possibility. Instead of receiving one normal strike, the coin is struck twice. If the second strike occurs after the coin shifts position, parts of the design overlap dramatically. Major double strikes remain highly sought after because they are visually impressive and significantly scarcer than ordinary coins. Some collectors also search for broad strikes. These occur when the retaining collar fails during striking, allowing the metal to spread beyond its normal diameter. The finished coin appears wider than normal while retaining much of its design. Genuine broad strikes are immediately recognizable to experienced collectors. Among all possible mint mistakes, wrong plancher errors generate tremendous excitement. Imagine a 1945 Lincoln cent accidentally struck on a foreign coin blank or another denomination's plancher. Such mistakes are exceptionally rare because multiple safeguards exist inside the mint. When authenticated, these unusual pieces often command remarkable auction prices due to their extreme rarity. While stories occasionally circulate online claiming every 1945 wheat cent is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, experienced collectors know that extraordinary prices belong only to exceptionally rare varieties, dramatic mint errors, or superb condition rarities. Understanding this distinction helps collectors make informed decisions and appreciate what truly creates value in the marketplace. Auction history demonstrates that top-quality certified examples consistently outperform average coins. Registry-set collectors compete fiercely for the finest known specimens because owning the highest-graded example brings prestige within the collecting community. As competition increases, prices for elite coins can rise dramatically beyond ordinary market expectations. Collector demand for Lincoln Wheat Cents remains incredibly strong because the series combines history, affordability, and the thrill of discovery. Many people begin collecting with pennies found in pocket change before eventually pursuing scarcer dates and unusual varieties. That lifelong passion continues introducing new collectors to the hobby every year. One fascinating aspect of the 1945 issue is its historical symbolism. These coins circulated during the transition from war to peace. They witnessed returning veterans rebuilding their lives, families celebrating long-awaited reunions, and America entering a new economic era. Holding one today offers a tangible connection to those unforgettable moments in history. Experts recommend examining every 1945 wheat cent carefully under proper lighting. Look closely at the date, lettering, and wheat ears for unusual doubling, misplaced minting elements, or striking abnormalities. Rotate the coin slowly to inspect its surfaces for original luster, unusual die features, or authentic mint-made errors rather than post-mint damage. Magnification between 5 and 10 power usually provides enough detail for careful inspection. Strong lighting from multiple angles helps reveal die polish lines, cracks, and subtle surface characteristics that may otherwise remain hidden. Many remarkable discoveries have occurred simply because someone decided to examine an ordinary-looking penny more carefully. If a potentially valuable variety or unusual error is discovered, professional authentication becomes essential. Third-party grading services verify authenticity, assign an official grade, and encapsulate the coin in a protective holder. Certified examples generally command greater confidence among buyers and often achieve stronger prices when offered for sale. The excitement surrounding wheat cents continues because remarkable discoveries still happen. Estate collections, forgotten coin jars, inherited albums, and unopened bankrolls occasionally produce unexpected treasures. While the odds of finding an extraordinary rarity remain small, the possibility keeps collectors searching year after year. For many enthusiasts, the true reward extends beyond financial value. Every Lincoln Wheat Cent tells a story about American history, craftsmanship, and everyday commerce. Whether worth $1 or thousands, each surviving example has traveled through generations before reaching today's collectors. That enduring combination of history, artistry, rarity, and the excitement of discovery ensures the 1945
Lincoln Wheat Cent remains one of the most beloved coins in American numismatics. And as long as collectors continue searching for elusive, high-grade survivors and spectacular mint errors, this humble 1-cent coin will always hold a special place in the auction market and in collections across the world. Now, let's turn our attention to another fascinating Lincoln Wheat Cent that often sparks curiosity among collectors: the 1937 Philadelphia issue with no mint mark. At first glance, this coin may appear to be nothing more than a heavily worn old penny that has spent decades in circulation. Its dark surfaces, faded date, scratches, and rough appearance might encourage many people to toss it into a jar without another thought. However, experienced collectors understand that every older wheat cent deserves a careful examination before any conclusions are made. The 1937 Lincoln Wheat Cent was struck during the later years of the Great Depression, a period when the United States was slowly recovering from one of the most difficult economic times in its history. Every cent mattered to American families, and these small copper coins circulated extensively through grocery stores, restaurants, banks, and local businesses. Because they were used so heavily, many surviving examples show significant wear today. Coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint in 1937 do not carry a mint mark. That is completely normal and does not indicate an error. The absence of a mint mark simply identifies the Philadelphia Mint for that year. New collectors sometimes mistake a missing mint mark for a rare variety, but understanding the minting practices of the era helps avoid that confusion. The obverse of the coin displays Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. His profile has become one of the most recognizable images in American coinage, and the design remains in use today in a modernized form. Above the portrait appears the motto, "In God We Trust," while liberty is positioned to the left and the date appears to the right. The reverse features the classic wheat ears design that gives these coins their popular nickname. Two wheat stalks frame the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, while E pluribus unum arches across the top. This elegant reverse remained in production until 1958 and is one of the most beloved designs in United States numismatic history. The Philadelphia Mint struck well over 300 million Lincoln cents in 1937, making the date itself common. Because of this large production, an ordinary circulated 1937 cent generally carries only a modest collector premium. Nevertheless, collectors continue searching these coins because unusual mint errors, exceptional preservation, and attractive original surfaces can greatly increase desirability. One term frequently mentioned by collectors is lamination error. A genuine lamination error occurs when impurities or defects exist within the metal strip before the coin is struck. During the striking process, thin layers of metal may separate, peel, or crack, leaving distinctive raised or missing areas on the finished coin. These are true mint errors because they originate during the manufacturing process,